So we all kind of grew up with this idea, didn't we? That the egg is like the perfect health food.
Absolutely, that little powerhouse of protein and energy.
Yeah, exactly. But, as we get into our 60s, maybe beyond, what if that idea isn't quite so solid anymore? Could this everyday food staple actually be causing some, well, unexpected problems for our health?
That's a really, really important angle to think about. Our bodies change as we mature. It's just a fact.
Right.
Our metabolism might slow down a bit. Maybe digestion gets a little more sensitive. And how we handle fats, sodium, things like that, it's just not the same as when we were, say, 30.
So what worked perfectly fine back then might put a bit more strain on us now.
Precisely. Foods that were totally beneficial might need, well, a closer look.
And it seems like some eggs, depending on how they're prepared or maybe where they even come from, could actually add to problems we worry more about as we age.
Like inflammation.
Yeah, inflammation, maybe higher cholesterol, even a buildup of stuff we'd rather not have in our systems.
That's a critical point to make. But, and this is important, it's definitely not all eggs. That's the good news here. There are absolutely types of eggs that can be incredibly helpful for older adults. We're talking benefits for brain health, heart protection, keeping bones strong, and just maintaining good energy levels.
Okay, so that's our mission today, really, to get clear on this. We're going to dig into 3 kinds of eggs that maybe aren't the best choice for us now.
And then
on the flip side, look at 3 types that can actually be powerful allies for staying healthy and active.
making that choice, the right egg choice, it's more than just breakfast, isn't it?
It really is. It's like a small step towards feeling better overall.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this. First up, something familiar, salted eggs. They taste great, but is there a hidden catch?
Ah, salted eggs. Yeah, for a lot of people, they bring back memories, maybe tradition. That taste is quite distinct.
Whether they're duck or chicken eggs, right? They have that rich, creamy, sort of intense flavor.
They really do. But here's the thing. When we look closely, especially thinking about heart health as we get older, that sodium content is, well, it's sky high.
How high are we talking?
We could be looking at over 500 milligrams of sodium in just one salted egg.
Wow. That's a lot. Isn't that nearly a third of what's often recommended for daily intake for older adults?
It is. And think about it, if your kidneys are maybe working a bit slower, which can happen as we age, and your heart and blood vessels are naturally a bit more vulnerable.
That much sodium can really throw things off balance.
Exactly. It can lead to more tension in your arteries kind of subtly over time.
And that makes your body hold on to water, right?
Yeah.
Which means more work for the heart.
Precisely. And you might even see that show up as swelling, maybe in your legs or ankles, sometimes even fluid buildup affecting your breathing.
So if you're already dealing with something like high blood pressure or heart issues or maybe kidney concerns,
then regularly eating salted eggs, even just a couple a week, could really overload the system. It could make those existing conditions worse.
That's quite worrying. You think about potential consequences. Maybe an unexpected ER visit for shortness of breath or that silent damage happening to arteries.
Or even, increasing the risk factors for something serious like a stroke. It might seem sudden, but the groundwork could be laid by things like diet.
And the tricky part is they don't exactly come with a big warning label.
No, they don't. They're often just seen as flavorful, traditional food. But our bodies change. Our sensitivity to sodium can increase.
So what used to be fine might need rethinking.
Right. Choosing to maybe limit them or swap them for lower sodium options becomes a really supportive choice for your health down the road.
Okay, that makes sense. So high sodium is one hidden danger. Now, what about cooking methods? If a salted egg has that impact, what happens when we take a regular egg and deep fry it? Let's talk about deep fried eggs.
Ah, the fried egg. It's classic comfort food for so many people, isn't it? That crispy edge, the runny yolk.
Totally, a breakfast staple. But, okay, the key here, as you hinted, isn't the egg itself, it's the frying, especially deep frying, right? In lots of oil, often those vegetable oils high in omega-6s and at really high heat.
Exactly. That intense heat and the oil, they change the egg. Some of the good nutrients can get damaged, degraded by the heat.
And worse, it introduces things we don't want.
Yes. You get things like oxidized fats, which are not good. You can also form advanced glycation end products, AGEs for short. And depending on the oil and how long it's heated, maybe even trans fats.
Okay, AGEs. Let's break that down. What do things like oxidized oils and these AGEs do to us, especially as we're older?
Well, oxidized oils are known inflammation drivers. And chronic inflammation is linked to so many issues we face as we age. Heart disease, arthritis, even cognitive decline like dementia.
Right, and the AGEs.
AGEs contribute to stiffness. Think stiff blood vessels, which isn't good for blood pressure. They can accelerate aging at the cellular level and might even play a role in joint stiffness or that brain fog some people experience.
So, eating deep-fried eggs regularly. It might not seem like a big deal day to day, but over time.
Over time, it can subtly nudge things in the wrong direction. Maybe you notice cholesterol creeping up or a heavy feeling after meals, maybe some indigestion you didn't have before.
Chest tightness, even.
Potentially, yes. And if you already have heart issues or high triglycerides, deep-fried foods are generally not recommended because they can make things worse.
It's really the cooking oil that's the overlooked villain here, isn't it?
Often, yes. But again, this doesn't mean ditching eggs. It just means favoring gentler cooking methods.
Like boiling.
Boiling is great, poaching, steaming. These methods keep the egg's nutrients intact without creating those harmful compounds from high heat frying in oil. A carefully cooked egg is still a fantastic food.
Okay, good to know. So cooking matters. But what about the source? You mentioned earlier where the egg comes from. Could that actually be a factor too? Let's talk about factory farmed eggs.
Yeah, this is a big one. You look at eggs in the carton, they all look pretty similar, right? Clean, standard.
Pretty much identical, yeah.
But what we don't see can be really important, especially as we age, and maybe our bodies are just a bit more sensitive to, well, everything. The source really does matter.
So factory farmed eggs. These are usually the cheapest, most common ones. What are the conditions like?
Typically very crowded. Hens are kept in tight spaces. And to prevent disease spreading in those conditions, antibiotics are often used routinely.
Wow.
Sometimes growth hormones might be involved too. And their feed is often a processed, lower quality mix designed for bulk production, not necessarily optimal nutrition.
And how does that affect the egg itself, particularly for older adults whose systems might be less resilient?
Well, those residues matter. Even tiny amounts of antibiotics in the food chain can contribute to the larger problem of antibiotic resistance. That means if you get an infection, the drugs might not work as well.
That's a scary thought. What about hormones?
Even trace amounts or hormonal imbalances in the chicken could, theoretically, have subtle ripple effects on our hormones. Things like mood, weight, maybe even memory. It's complex, but it's a consideration.
And the feed quality. If the chicken isn't eating well,
then the egg won't be as nutritious. It might be lower in those really key things we need more of as we age, like beneficial omega-3 fats, vitamin D for bones, antioxidants to fight cell damage.
basically a stressed or less healthy chicken is likely to produce a less beneficial egg.
That's a good way to put it. You're not just getting the protein and fat. You might be getting traces of that environment too.
And the potential health effects for us. Maybe a weaker immune response, more digestive issues.
Possibly. Or just contributing to that background level of inflammation that can worsen arthritis, impact heart health, or fog up your thinking. It's often subtle.
And most people buying eggs probably aren't thinking about this level of detail, are they?
Not usually. We tend to trust what's on the grocery shelf. But understanding these differences empowers you to make a better choice for your body.
It really drives home how food choices can either build us up or create these hidden hurdles. Okay, enough about the problems. Let's pivot. Thankfully, there are eggs that do support us. Let's start with maybe the simplest, most reliable one, the boiled egg.
Yes, the humble boiled egg. So simple, so dependable, no fuss.
But deceptively powerful, right? Especially for older adults thinking about brain health, muscle strength, digestion.
Absolutely. Think about the common shifts with age. Maybe losing a bit of muscle mass, noticing memory isn't quite as sharp, digestion feeling a bit sluggish. Boiled eggs are almost tailor-made to help.
How so? What are the key nutrients?
Well, first off, fantastic high-quality protein, crucial for holding on to lean muscle, fighting off frailty. Then there's choline.
Choline, important for the brain.
Hugely important. It supports memory, mood, nerve signaling. Some research suggests it might even help slow cognitive decline. And eggs are one of the best natural sources.
What else is packed in there?
In the yolk, you've got lutein and zeaxanthin, powerful antioxidants for eye health, protecting against macular degeneration. Very important as we age.
Okay.
Plus vitamin D, which we know is vital for bones, reducing fracture risk, and vitamin B12 for energy and nerve function.
And importantly, they're easy on the stomach.
So easy. No added oil, no spices causing irritation, just pure, simple nourishment. It's a quiet way to fill nutritional gaps, keep your body strong, and maybe even help keep your thoughts clearer and steps steadier.
Love that. Simple but effective. Okay, moving from simple to maybe a bit more specialized. What about omega-3 enriched eggs? Are they worth seeking out?
I think they represent a really smart, proactive approach to health as we age. Every bite counts more, in a way. We want food that actively works for us, for our heart, our brain, our future well-being.
So what exactly makes an egg omega-3 enriched?
It's all about the hen's diet. They're fed things like flaxseed or algae, maybe chia seeds. These foods are naturally rich in omega-3 fatty acids.
And that passes into the egg.
It does. Significantly increases the omega-3 content compared to standard eggs.
And why are omega-3 so important for seniors?
Oh, the benefits are huge. They're natural anti-inflammatories, which we know is key. They help keep arteries flexible, can help lower blood pressure, reduce triglycerides, all major factors in heart disease prevention.
Which is a huge concern as we get older.
Massive. But it's not just the heart. Omega-3s are critical for brain health, too. They help maintain memory, can stabilize mood, and there's growing evidence linking them to a reduced risk of Alzheimer's.
You mentioned inflammation earlier. Can omega-3s help with that sort of low-grade chronic inflammation people experience, like achy joints or feeling foggy?
Yes, absolutely. It's often a silent battle inside the body. Joint stiffness, fatigue, that mental cloudiness, reducing inflammation through diet, including omega-3 rich foods like these eggs, can make a real difference over the long term. It's subtle, but powerful.
And getting it from an egg seems pretty convenient. No need for extra supplements necessarily or complicated recipes.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it. They're easy to find, affordable for many, and you just cook them like any other egg. Scrambled, poached, whatever you like.
So it's an accessible way to feel like you're taking positive control, supporting your heart and brain health.
Definitely. It contributes to that feeling of gentle improvement, maintaining independence, a really wise choice.
Okay, one more beneficial type to explore. This one might be less familiar to some. Organic quail eggs. Tiny, but mighty.
They really are. Small, often beautifully speckled, but don't let the size fool you. They pack a serious nutritional punch.
I know they're used in different cuisines. What makes them particularly good for older adults?
Well, they've been valued in various cultures for a long time, seen as strengthening. They're ideal if you're looking for gentle nourishment that doesn't feel heavy or overwhelm the system.
And you mentioned digestion, bone health, immunity.
Yes, it's like a trifecta of support. First, being organic is a plus. No routine antibiotics, hormones, or factory feed concerns.
Like we discussed with factory chicken eggs.
Right. But beyond that, they're surprisingly nutrient-dense. Ounce for ounce, compared to chicken eggs, they often have more iron, phosphorus, and vitamin B12.
Wow. All things we really need for energy, good blood, healthy nerves, things that can sometimes dip as we age.
Exactly. Fighting fatigue, dizziness, cognitive fog, B12 is key. And the iron supports oxygen transport. Phosphorus is crucial for bones and energy metabolism.
You said gentle digestion.
Very gentle. The smaller portion size helps, the taste is milder. They seem less likely to cause bloating or discomfort for sensitive systems. Plus, the protein is thought to be very easily absorbed. Great if appetite is low or digestion feels sluggish.
What about immunity?
They contain good levels of selenium and zinc. These are trace minerals, but vital for a strong immune response. Really important for seniors who might be more vulnerable to infections or recover more slowly.
And bones. We know vitamin D is important.
They offer that, plus meaningful phosphorus. Both work together for strong bones and teeth. Think stability, mobility, peace of mind, strong bones are fundamental.
And versatile too, I imagine.
Totally. Boil them for snacks, add them to salads, gently fry them. They offer this concentrated boost without feeling like a heavy meal. It just shows sometimes the best support comes in a small package.
That's a great way to put it. So wrapping this all up, this whole exploration of eggs really highlights a bigger picture, doesn't it?
It really does. Our health, especially in our later decades, is so often shaped by those quiet, consistent, everyday choices. What we choose to eat plays such a fundamental role.
And eggs, something so seemingly ordinary, can actually have a pretty significant impact.
A huge impact on blood pressure, cholesterol, inflammation levels, memory, mobility. These aren't small things. They affect your daily energy, how sharp you feel, how independent you remain.
So just to quickly recap the avoid list, or at least be mindful of, salted eggs because of the sodium.
Right. Deep-fried eggs because of the inflammation potential from damaged oils and AGs.
And factory-farmed eggs due to potential residues and lower nutrient quality. It's not about fear, is it?
Not at all. It's about informed awareness, knowing what you're choosing.
And then the embrace list. Boiled eggs are fantastic for brain health, gentle protein.
Omega-3 eggs, a smart choice for heart health and fighting inflammation.
And organic quail eggs, Or even good quality pastured chicken eggs, offering those extra micronutrients, easy digestion, and immune support.
These are the positive, proactive choices. Ways to actively nourish your body as it changes.
It really feels empowering, actually. Age brings changes, yes, but also this opportunity to choose smarter, more intentionally for our own well-being.
Absolutely. And that choice, even about something as simple as an egg, it symbolizes that larger truth. You are still in the driver's seat of your health, your story, your future.
It's not just about living longer, but living better, right? More vitality, more joy.
That's the goal. Health span, not just lifespan.
So maybe as you're listening, thinking about your next meal, just take a moment, reflect on this. Is there one small thing you heard today that resonates? One little shift you could make?
Maybe choosing boiled over fried next time. Or looking for those omega-3 cartons.
Exactly. Even just that moment of conscious choice, that intention, is a powerful step. It's about living fully, making informed choices, maybe starting one egg at a time.